That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," send us a comment. You're one of us. It will just be a sign that we've given up.
Kind of like wearing sweats everywhere? Yeah. Sweatpants?
I just wondered.
So you wear a sweatsuit and step-ins, and you work from home. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-host. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without using Google or fact-checking each other online. Those things can so easily kill a conversation.
Tonight, we're going to keep the conversation going with a non-listener, which is a little unusual for us.
Usually, a non-listener, and she's really not going to speak on our podcast.
She's not even going to speak on it.
She doesn't want to say anything. But that's fine.
Yeah.
But she did have some good ideas.
She had a great idea. My oldest daughter, who doesn't listen to our podcast,
no joy.
She has used a That Don't Sound Right cup.
A sport then.
We'll give you partial credit.
But tonight I asked her what she thought would be a good episode. She said the thing that doesn't sound right to her is tying shoes.
Yeah, and you mentioned that to me, and I had to think about it really only for about 6.5 seconds.
Because you don't think it sounds right either.
Well, when you really think about all the different ways we put our shoes on and take them off, how often do we use laces?
Laces is how it is still the standard by far, I would say. That you lace up your shoes.
That's right. I mean,
at least for men's shoes.
Well, we still tie little kid shoes today.
Right. Why are we doing that?
Now, you can get some shoes with Velcro on them.
Yes.
You remember seeing those?
But there seems to be a stigma with Velcro.
Well, who's got the stigma?
I'm just saying.
Do you feel like you've been looked down upon by other parents by putting Velcroed shoes on your kids?
No, not on putting shoes on your kids, but if I were to have worn Velcro shoes to high school, I don't think that would have flown.
Yeah,
of course,
I think
there was a lot of pitfalls in high school anyway.
I think you'd have been tormented mercilessly.
Right, but it makes a lot of sense.
From a ease and even a reliability.
So I think we can break this down. So if I'm going outside, I have an old pair of shoes.
Right.
That I have flattened the heels out on, so I can slide my foot in, and they're permanently tied. I don't untie them and tie them back. Perma-tie. I don't lace them and lace them back up.
I'm with you. I mean, some of my everyday shoes, I just slip my foot in.
Right. In college, I had a pair of tennis shoes that I could keep laced up permanently and still get my foot in and out of them.
Right. Why do you do it? Why do you do it that way? Why don't you?
Because I don't want to bend down and tie my shoes.
Exactly. I don't want to sit down and untie them. Now, I've got some shoes I have to tie because kind of leather shoes, they don't give as much, so you have to, and you want them to be a little snug.
But still, there's better things out there. You could even have a better thing in a leather shoe.
Like what?
Elastic.
Tell me more.
That was behind the leather. I think we've just gotten used to that. I mean, one of the first skills I remember acquiring in kindergarten was tying my shoes.
We worked a lot on tying our shoes.
We had a string that was tied to the back of our chair so we could practice tying our shoes with that string.
Yet, by the time we learned how to tie our shoes, we also learned how to slip our shoes on and off.
Right. But laces as a kid were terrible because if you didn't tie your laces tight and you rode a bike, have you ever gotten your laces wrapped around
I have. Not
a pedal?
You get them wrapped around the pedal.
Yeah, I've had them wrapped around the pedal and gotten thrown off a bike.
Okay, I'm not sure. I don't think I had that. I've never had that happen. I kind of caught it beforehand.
I've had them get tied up in the chain.
Never had that.
Yeah, I've had them.
I can see that be problematic.
Yeah.
Well, what other ways can we do this?
Well, I think the thing that makes sense, like when I had a pair of, I did a triathlon one time, and they had laces specifically for like triathletes. And so you lace the shoe up with this, basically it's a piece of elastic, and then it has a little tensioner at the top. But you can...
A tensioner?
Yep. So you can apply a little bit more tension on it or back it off. But you can slide your foot in and out, and those laces expand and then come back into shape.
And that's because seconds count in a triathlon.
Yeah, I mean, well, supposedly.
Right.
For me, they didn't.
But theoretically, seconds count. You don't want to be tying your shoes.
Right. You want your transition times to be as fast as possible. So
you can get out and start running.
Right. And so you want to get out of the water, get into the shoes. But see, oddly enough, your bike shoes.
I was going to say, you had cycling shoes,
You
right?
had cycling shoes.
What were they?
Velcro.
Boom. I got a set of mountain biking shoes that you
Velcro?
clip in, and they are Velcroed.
Right, because it's safe, and you can adjust the tension on it. And it
Right.
spreads the tension out over more surface area.
And it goes quick.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of surface area, the last pair of running shoes that I bought at the running store, they showed me how to lace it up in a way that spreads the load over at least 2 eyelets instead of just the one at the very top.
Yeah.
And so, A, it's more comfortable, and B, since it's spread over a couple of eyelets, it actually spreads the shock load.
Yeah.
It gives a little more.
Yeah.
But why don't we put, I mean, when you say elastic, it's like putting a very small bungee cord
Yeah.
through as a lace. Use a small bungee
Right.
cord as a lace.
Yeah.
I love it. Because once you have it tied, I mean, you could tie it and it'll look like a normal loop.
Right.
And then when you go to take your foot on and out, it just stretches.
Right.
Do you think that's the idea behind these Skechers? What are they called? Slip-ons?
Step-ins.
Step-ins.
I want a pair of those, but my daughters will not allow me to buy a pair.
Why not?
They think it ages me, but I'm of that age.
It's hitting your demographic. They have you nailed.
I mean, I was like, they have people from the 80s that were popular in the 80s advertising them, and if they were cool then, certainly they're cool now, right?
Who advertises them? Oh, Howie Long.
Yeah, he advertises.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does. He supposedly he wears step-ins. Skechers. But
that don't sound right. But that might be a different topic.
But like when you're tying your shoes, like they have those extra holes at the top of running shoes, so you can do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can spread, because when you're using laces, you're really putting a lot of pressure on one point,
right?
Instead of spreading it out. And we have stuff that can spread loads out.
We have Velcro, elastic.
Yeah.
Hiking boots.
I mean, I've seen people that had very complicated algorithms for how they lace their hiking boots.
I wouldn't say it's complicated, but it's of the same ideas to spread out the load.
Right. So if you've ever seen a hiking boot, you've got your eyes, the little holes like you have in a tennis shoe, but then the upper part are usually just open eyelets.
Or like hooks.
Or hooks. And so what you do on those is you get very creative and you create your own loops out of your lace, and you have all these intricate lacing patterns to spread the load out up your leg.
So here's one for you.
What's that?
The cam buckle.
The cam buckle on backpack?
On snow ski boots.
Yeah, right.
Look at those things.
Yeah.
You just snap those babies on.
Right.
Snap them off.
You're not lacing anything.
Why can't we have? Why we can't have clasps?
Yeah.
So you'd have a hook, and you'd have a loop of bungee. You put your shoe on, and you just loop the bungee around a hook. Loop the bungee around the hook. Loop a bungee around the hook.
And have maybe a little adjuster on it if you ever needed to adjust.
If you need more tension, pull a little tight.
Right. I think Olivia's given us a great topic.
Well, it still begs the question: why are we still doing it?
Well, I think
why haven't any of these things taken off?
I don't know. I think it's fashion. Cam buckled or bungeed tennis shoes, even as adults, I'd guarantee you somebody'd have something to say about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But you wonder, I mean, I can see this being somewhat of a chic type of thing going on.
What do you mean?
Well, all of a sudden, I mean, have you seen people wearing these really big, chunky eyeglasses?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They look like face shields.
Right.
But those are kind of chic.
Yes.
I don't know what the statement is, but the same kind of thing. Or you wear a belt with a big buckle on it because you run
because I ran 100 miles.
Because you ran 100 miles. What's another example
of something that's not practical that you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think there's a ton of that in fashion.
Right.
But that just seems like something that we could do away with. We could do away with laces. And I think there's attempts at it. Skechers is attempting to do away with it. But here, if I were to go with the Skechers no lace shoes, I would get backlash from my own family.
Yeah, it depends.
That's why I don't have a pair right now. The last pair of shoes I bought would have been Skechers Step-Ins.
Are you serious? And you were ashamed?
But my daughters blocked me from getting them.
Really?
Yes.
What they need to do is they need to create a pair of Skechers Step-Ins that have laces that you don't tie.
They're just there for show?
They're just there for show. No one would ever know. Well, so why? So I got a question.
Yeah.
Why are those unacceptable, but penny loafers are acceptable?
I don't know.
I mean, I've got a pair of steel-toed work shoes that are step-ins. They're slip-ons.
Are they really?
Yeah.
You have to wear steel toes at work?
And when certain places at the office, when I go into the shop at the garage area, or if I go up to the factory, I have to have some kind of steel toe or protective shoes.
Right.
And Red Wing has a very attractive leather pair of steel-toed shoes that are slip-ons. They look like those moccasin type looking shoes. They look just like that.
And they fit fine, don't they?
Oh, I love these things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't understand why we're doing laces, especially with technical shoes. Like running shoes should not have laces. You should have compression systems in those that you just either step into or spread the load using Velcro.
Okay, so I'm looking at a picture of Skechers slip-ins, relaxed fit. They're leather. They basically look like tan loafers. Look at this. So I've got a pair of Skechers men's hands-free. They're called men's hands-free slip-ins, relaxed fit, Garner Newick men's shoes. And look what I see. I see laces.
Fake laces.
Look, fake laces. They're mock laces.
Right. I don't understand.
I think you could get these and no one would ever know.
Well, I would like to do that.
I think you should.
Because I make them basically out of old pairs of shoes now. By just pushing down the back of the
But you
shoe.
can wear these in public.
I could wear those in public. I have.
Unless you're with your daughters, you cannot wear them in your.
I can buy them secretly and just not let anybody know that I bought them.
I mean, you should do it. You should try it at least and see how long you can go and report back here.
They look very comfortable.
This back edge, though, the heel. You see how the heel has that weird lip and crown to it? That looks a little strange.
Right.
But I'm sure when it's on your foot, you don't even notice. I wouldn't wear these with shorts.
No.
Not recommended.
During the summer, if I'm wearing shorts, I'm probably going barefoot or wearing flip-flops.
There you go.
Yeah. And I now own a pair of Tevas.
Teva? Oh, yeah.
Which are extremely complicated shoes. They're complicated beyond what they need to be.
Whoa. What are you talking about?
Not Tevas. What's the one that's real popular now? It's the sandal that's got all the different cross pieces, and you have to adjust it all. It's one continuous loop.
Oh, really? No, I don't.
Creates
I'm not
tension.
familiar.
Chacos.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a pair of Chacos.
Chacos.
Yeah, and so it's one continuous loop of fabric, but if you pull it in different directions and tighten it, it kind of becomes customized to your foot.
So basically, instead of going in the direction you're recommending,
right,
we've gone in completely the opposite direction.
Right. An even more complicated lacing system.
You've made it more complicated. You've oh, look at those things.
Yeah.
Those look very complicated.
Right. It's one continuous loop, and you can increase or decrease the tensioning.
Yeah, I mean, these things have the thing. Does it go between your toe, too?
Yeah. Well, you can get different ones like
forget
that.
about it.
Yeah.
Don't put anything in between my toes.
Right. So it's different ones like that. But now my old Tevas were very easy.
Right. Okay. All right.
You could step into those, and it had
one Velcro, right?
One Velcro, or a cam.
Oh, you had the cam?
Yeah,
really?
you had ones that had cams or Velcros. And so they were onto something, the Tevas were. But they've gone away from Teva, and they've gone to Chacos.
No, I still wear Tevas.
I still have my Tevas.
Yeah.
I have not just Tevas, I have Pepsi Tevas.
Well, now we're getting into a whole new realm of that don't sound right. What do you mean Pepsi Tevas?
So I don't know if you remember they had Pepsi points one summer.
Yeah.
And this actually they have a TV show about it now, or a Netflix special, where they had all these different tiers of prizes, and one of the prizes was a jet.
Yes. Pepsi, where's my jet?
Pepsi, where's my jet? And so a guy figured out the loophole and
wasn't he supposed to get a Harrier or something?
Yeah, supposed to get a Harrier jet. And then,
if you don't know what a Harrier was, the first fighter jet for an Air Force, is actually the Royal Air Force. I think you first used them. That could take off vertically.
So it was supposed to be a joke, but they left this big legal loophole in there, and he figured it out and like made a case out of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a Harrier jet, but I did save up enough Pepsi points that summer to get a pair of Tevas. And I still have them. They got the Pepsi symbol on the back and everything.
Let's see them.
I'll send you a picture of them.
Yeah, we need to post that on the website.
So what I would do to get enough Pepsi points is we were living in the mountains, and we would have to take our recycling to a recycling center. They would pick it up like they do here in Winston.
Right.
And so I was there one day. I was noticing all the Pepsi bottles that were being thrown away. So I would stand there and just cut the Pepsi points off of bottles.
Really?
Yeah.
They were not in the bottle caps?
No, they were on the label. They were on the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you just.
I just stood there and cut them off for, every time I'd go to the recycling center.
How many hours did you have to put in this in order to get a set of Tevas?
There were several hours that I'd be in there just cutting those things off, but I got enough for a pair of Tevas.
I'm a big fan of the Teva. I got the Teva when I was high school. I was mocked mercilessly for wearing Tevas because I was wearing my Tevas before Tevas were cool.
Did you wear Tevas with socks?
No, not then.
Right. But eventually you did.
Not then. No, but I remember wearing them in high school and getting somewhat ridiculed.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I loved them, and
Tevas were great.
They're the best.
I really think. Tevas were on to what needed to be. Well, I don't know why we complicated the Teva.
How did we complicate the Teva?
We made the Choco.
Oh yeah, forget about it. I'm not.
And we didn't do away with laces on shoes. But Teva was actually onto something.
They still are. You can still get Tevas.
Yeah, you still get them, but they're not hip now.
Well, I still wear them.
They're not cool.
No one looks at my feet.
You got to be wearing.
You look at my feet once, you're going to stop looking at my feet.
You got to be wearing Chacos to be cool.
Well, I guess.
So now that I've thought about that, I need to go dig those out.
What, the Pepsi Tevas?
Yeah, my Pepsi Tevas.
Yeah, you absolutely should. Yeah. I'll wear my Tevas next time we record. No one will be able to see it.
That's right.
But no one cares.
But you can get that you can get all kinds of stuff. They had good gear in the Pepsi points.
Well, clearly they had a Harrier from the Royal Air Force.
Yeah. And that guy, I think, actually got compensated for that.
He got something?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. He didn't get a Harrier, obviously.
No, but
he got compensated because he found out there was no disclaimer for that jet. And he found out that you could buy Pepsi points. And so the jet was worth like $23 million or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was only going to cost him $500,000 to buy enough Pepsi points.
No.
To have enough Pepsi points to have the jet. And
Whoa.
So that's where the whole legal.
I bet you he got his $500,000 back.
Well, they dismissed him at first.
And maybe a lifetime supply of, Diet Pepsi.
I need to watch that show to see what happened because I don't remember what happened.
Okay, so back to laces. So we've established that laces are kind of like ice. We don't need them.
We don't need them. It's not that we want. Not we don't want them or have them. But we don't need them.
We don't need laces.
We
don't need ice
systems for this, especially with hiking boots.
Now I don't know about hiking boots. I'm not sure if I can get behind a non-laced hiking boot.
Well,
because I want the support and I need the really rugged support of a boot.
Wouldn't you rather do it with like larger straps that you could to kind of spread the load out instead of that thin lacing?
I don't know how to think about that. I don't know if a larger strap would cut it. Larger strap would be hard to pull on to get the tension in the first place, unless each one was buckled. Maybe if each one was buckled.
I'll give you hiking boots.
I think I want them, and I don't think I want the cam buckle on my hiking boots. But for these step-ins, I'm curious to know what my family would do if I showed up in a pair of step-ins.
If you were brave enough to wear Tevas in high school, then you're in the clear anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't care.
Right, you don't care.
But we'll have to investigate the step-in here.
Yeah.
The fact that they have the fake laces, that makes me laugh, and the fact that they call them hands-free.
Well, that's for the people that can't quite make the break from laces.
No, you certainly don't need it, and unless they are there to give you some adjustment. Maybe once you have your foot in there, you adjust them to where you like it, and then you can take your foot in and out, so they're always the right tension.
I have seen people lace their shoes up. I've seen a few videos of people that lace their shoes up solely to be step-ins.
Okay, how do you do that?
they just lace it. They have like a little lacing pattern that's loose, but it's enough they can get their.
Okay,
so
I mean that's like what we do.
If you're going to that much trouble, it's time to do away with laces.
Right, but I mean that's what we do the same thing. Like these shoes right here that I'm wearing, those shoes.
You should do.
They're laced in such a way that they can slip on and off pretty easy.
You need to create an an AI image of someone who's not using ice, doesn't have laces in their shoes, and doesn't have a microwave.
That's right. Ice, microwave laces, they are not in Cecil's.
I've gotten rid of
inventory.
3 things right here since we've been doing the podcast.
You really are living life simply over here.
Well, I still have lace-up shoes though. Like all my running shoes are lace-up shoes.
Why don't you can't you just buy bungee cord laces or these elastic laces that you got for your triathlete?
I did, and I quit using them.
Why?
Now I'm beginning to question why I ever quit using them.
I wonder if they look weird.
No, they don't look weird.
I can really understand.
I still have them. I may start using them.
I think you should. I can get behind bungee cord laces. I guess we could call them. They're
Right.
elastic, but
Yeah.
I can get behind this.
I think I may try them again.
But I think we've presented a pretty compelling case of why do we still lace. I mean, we have a few examples, but not many. I think we have a compelling case of we don't need laces anymore.
Now,
and the fact that we still do, that don't sound right that we still do, at least for the majority of our shoes.
Now, I did see a case where James Bond fell off a cliff and he was hanging in midair on a rope
Yeah.
and unlaced one of his boots and made his boot into an ascender, the lacing into an ascender.
Well, okay.
So there may be a chance that you need to.
That's right. Well, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to do the step ins. At least I know my wife listens to this show, and she's rolling her eyes right now. But Father's Day is coming up.
What are the prices on the step-in?
The step-ins hands-free shoes. I love that hands-free. They're running around $80.
$80.
They're that seems to be the going rate for shoes. I don't know if that's I don't know how good a shoe
I just
it is.
wonder if it will just be a sign that we've given up.
Kind of like wearing sweats everywhere, sweatpants.
I just wonder.
So you wear a sweatsuit and step-ins, and you work from home.
I just, maybe that's one of the reasons we have to tie our shoes is to keep us mobile, bending over, stretching muscles, all that kind of stuff. All right, it don't sound right, but you have come to the end of another That Don't Sound Right.
Hey, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, will you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're a long-time listener, please give us a rating and leave us a review so others can find us enjoying the conversation.
And if you need T-shirts, remember Wonderfully Made Designs. It's a small business specializing in T-shirts and decals. Contact Casey on Facebook at Wonderfully Made Designs 139.14. Use TDSR10 for 10% off your first purchase. All right, That Don't Sound Right is a production of TSR Podcast in conjunction with Campbell City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is your other host and your web designer. The idea for tonight's episode came from Olivia.
Thanks, Olivia.
Camille is our part-time barista. Emily does our graphic design. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is home now, but he is our international brand ambassador.
Welcome home.
And as always, listener number 1 is Scott.
Scott.
So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.